Good evening, YouTube. Martinez Country Home here. Wanted to give you all an update today. Did a video this morning, and I hadn't been out to the stores or anything like that for a couple of days. I've been working and stuff. Just hadn't had time, but I did go this morning to the local grocery store that's by my work, and I was surprised to see that most of the what I call staples like bread, milk, eggs, they were stocked. There was bottled water there, not a lot, but they did have like the gallon jugs and the big. I think they're like 2.5 jug containers of water that usually you'll take them camping. It's got the little button so that so that you can kind of like the soap, something like the detergent. Anyway, so the store was kind of it was spotty, but for the most part they were stocking. I mean, the aisles were full of guys stocking and all that, and there was canned goods. They were kind of not as abundant, right? But it looked a lot better than before. The situation has kind of stabilized as far as people trying to get food and water. The kind of like the panicky feeling has kind of passed, as far as the people trying to get water, and I guess they see that things have kind of subsided, so they've calmed down. So the brand of bottled water that I usually get, I was lucky. I thought it was gone, and it's a 32 count, and excuse me, I thought it was empty, and I just kind of pushed the cart up a little bit, and there was 2 of them there. And there's limits. I forgot to tell y'all. There's limits on water. There's limits on a lot of items, and there's also limits on charcoal. Now I don't use charcoal. I barbecue. When I do barbecue, I barbecue with mesquite wood or with hickory. I also like to use what they call in Spanish carbón, which is basically the wood chips, the actual wood chips that have been, it's carbon. I like to use that. So if I buy charcoal, it's like this last time I bought charcoal it was because that was all that was left, and it's a good cooking source. So but there was limits on that, two bags, and I believe there was also limits on the charcoal starter, but you don't really need that. So even the like the Dollar Generals, and which is where I went after work. I went and stopped and needed some things for the house. They were stocking up, so it seems like whatever was keeping the supply trucks, for whatever reason, excuse me, the stores were that store was also full of people stocking. There was boxes piled up, and so the product was there. I'm not sure if they had the full product, and like with the grocery store in the morning, I'm not sure how well they were gonna stock up, how much product they had, but it looked better, like I said, than before, where people were calm. They were not not fighting over the last freaking loaf of bread or whatever. And like I said, it was spotty. I'm not saying it was fully stocked, like the shelves were like full, but the canned goods, there was canned goods. But what I did notice was there was no spam. I'm the spam and the treat meat, stuff like that, that's really strictly for the long-term preps. It's used for really, for me, it's mainly used for like like when you boil like beans, when you cook your beans, your dry beans, you can chop that up and put it in there, and to give that the beans that salty flavor, that pork flavor that goes really good with the pinto beans, which is what we buy. Um, uh, so for the most part, everything was kind of getting back to normal. I'm not sure if the people, for it being early, there was quite a bit of people there. For during being a Tuesday, there was quite a bit of people, and I guess they were trying to catch up, trying to maybe get some things that they hadn't been able to get before. Um, so it looks like things are kind of catching up a little bit. Um, like I said, only the bottled water, they were running out pretty fast. There was another brand of bottled water. I don't know why people didn't get that one. I forgot the brand name. But as long as it's purified, pretty much reverse osmosis, um, that's what I'm gonna get. Um, and that's to supplement our drinking water. Um, now, so I just wanted to catch all up on how the food supply and the water supply is at the stores, and it looked like it looked like it's stabilizing, and they're slowly stocking up to the way they usually do. Now, are they gonna get to that point? I'm not sure. Tomorrow's another day. Um, the weekend's coming up, so we're gonna see. We're supposed to be getting I think they said it's like a cool front over the weekend, but it's nothing like they said. I mean, I'm sorry, it's nothing like what we just went through. The sub-freezing temperatures and stuff like that. So what I wanted to bring up right now is that, like I was mentioning this morning, I believe that a lot of these things that are going on, especially like with the weather, um, I believe it's being manipulated, um, and not just the weather, but also the energy companies. You know, they're doing their business deals, like I was mentioning this morning, and it's leaving the people vulnerable. Um, and I believe that this is gonna be it's gonna be pretty regular now. Um, all like what I've been telling my family and my friends, my coworkers is um, it's very important that y'all have a sense of urgency and do not stop prepping. I always say that. I've said that in the months past when I first started making these videos. I mean, I always say, keep on prepping and don't stop. But it's become apparent to me that, um, you know, don't stop. I mean, you want to have not just your food and your water, of course, but you also want to have alternative cooking sources, alternative ways to heat your house in the winter, and in the summer, alternative ways to cool your house in case the power does go out in the summer. And if y'all are from Texas or anywhere in the South, and you know what, even in New York, the East Coast, they've had heat waves before in the past, and it can get very hot. But in Texas, it's like a normal thing every summer. So it's very important that you think about how to have a backup power source and have a backup way to cool your house, to cool yourselves in case the power does go out in the summer. And I have a feeling that, like I said, that it's gonna be happening pretty regular. Um, I was listening to a video this morning that was pretty interesting. They mentioned something interesting that I had completely forgot about. Maybe like 2 weeks ago, Joe Biden had signed some. I think what he did was he bypassed, or what did he do? There was a law or something that Donald Trump, some executive order. I'm sorry, I believe it was an executive order that that prohibited China and I think other foreign countries from having any say on our power grid and the power companies, right? And I think it was right after after the inauguration, when Joe Biden became president, that um, he took out that executive order, which allows now China to interfere or have some kind of a say on the power grid, on the power companies. And what I think that is that China has there's maybe companies, or there's financial interests that have ties to the power companies here in the United States. I'll have to research that and look it up. But I just wanted y'all to keep that in mind. That it's a pretty big coincidence that he overrides that executive order, or he took it off, and now, and not 2 weeks later, this happens. So, guys, for many years, I've talked about how the United States was going down. Their position as a superpower was going down. They were gonna fall, and that they were gonna be surpassed by China, and because of their abuse of having the world reserve currency, that eventually our dollar was gonna fall, and because of that, our economy and the status as of us being the premier superpower, and I think that we're seeing signs all over the place of that happening. I think that we're seeing it right in front of our face, and it's like a degradation of our nation, right? There's all this chaos. There's all this the civil strife, and all these things coming up. The BLM, Antifa, white supremacist groups, neo-Nazis. All these things are in the news, and they're being used to keep us at each other's throats, and keeping us in constant turmoil. And those are just signs that of how we're in the middle of a collapse, a societal collapse. So, basically, for whatever reason, whatever's going on, the important thing is that we prep our food, our water, and like I said, I know I'm kind of just, I've said this before, but it's very important, guys, that you buy your food right now at this price, right? At the price you're gonna pay for it right now, because in the future, and it's happening fast now, the price that you're gonna pay later is gonna be way more. So if you buy it now, it's like you saved all that money. You know what I'm saying? And in the future, that money that you would have paid for the food that you bought now you can use that, or the money that you saved, you can pay for something else. You can use that for some other kind of prep, or something else. And moving forward, we're gonna have to think like that. We're gonna have to be very careful. We're gonna have to be very aware of what's going on around us. And for many of us, for most of us, I know I'm preaching to the choir here. Y'all are very awake. Y'all have eyes to see, and y'all can read between the lines. Y'all can connect dots, and because they're telling you, they're letting you know what's coming, but most people can't see. They don't, or they know something's wrong. They know something's up, but they just can't. They can't explain it, or they don't want to know. They really just want to be left alone, and they don't want to be inconvenienced with the truth. So we're gonna have to. The days are gonna get ugly. It's possible that they're gonna get very ugly. Things are gonna get, excuse me, things are gonna get very dark. We're gonna be under a lot of stress. And maybe for us that we're awake, maybe it's worse for us because we're not in ignorant bliss. We know what's happening and we're aware, and so we're dealing with it, and it can be stressful. But I'd rather be awake, and I'd rather know what's going on, and that makes us stronger. And also, I've been remiss in mentioning and or um, in saying that this is a spiritual war, and I put my faith in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, um, and His Father in heaven. I think it's very important that we get our spiritual house in order too. I know some of y'all might not, you know, I'm not religious, but I don't go to a certain church. I don't believe I need a man to intercede between me and God, and so it's going to be very important that we pray and that we keep Him in our hearts. We keep that goodness and that love and that that our morality, especially because in these days that are to come, we're going to be tested, and so we got to be. That's why it's good to prepare now. If we're prepared and we got things in order, we don't have to fall into that desperate and that desperation and into that desperate type of mind, that frame of mind. Desperate people they'll do anything, and we don't want to do that. We want to be moral. We want to be examples. We want to help our neighbor. And if the time comes that that we have to, we'll defend ourselves, and we'll put a stop to it. That doesn't, I don't, if we're in the right, then we do what we got to do to protect our families and our homes and ourselves. So if you're prepared now, guys, the more you're prepared, the less you have to be out there in the mix and in the craziness. So don't stop prepping, guys. Right now is no time. I know. I learned a lot in this little. It was what, 2 or 3 days worth of really bad temperatures, bad weather conditions. It just taught me that, imagine if it would have been longer, it would have got ugly, and I don't want to be caught off like that again. Even though it's not something that that usually happens here in the South, especially in South Texas, but like I said before, moving forward, I'm not assuming anything. I'm not taking anything for granted, and so I'm going to prepare for the worst case scenario. So I think y'all should too, because if you look at things going on around you, the way people are behaving, the way the so-called authorities are doing things, and the corporations, all these things, they're really at war with us. So we have to prepare, and we have to keep in mind that the war comes in different forms, especially in the 21st century. It's not like before. It's a mind game. It's a psychological, and we gotta see it for what it is. So that being said, guys, I just wanted to give you an update about what's going on down here and how the situation is. It's looking better. So as things stabilize, that gives you an opportunity to speed it up, man. Don't stop. Keep getting water, your food, whatever. How to ways to cook, etc., etc. So anyway, guys, I think I'll start making videos on alternative ways of cooking, in case the power goes out. And I know y'all know these things, you know, but some people don't, or they just need to be reminded. So anyway, guys, also, I got a family member that's he knows a lot of stuff about you know, survival type stuff, you know, doing things outside the box, starting fires, and just building shelters, things like that. That might come in handy too, the way things are looking. So he might be joining me, sending me videos or things of that nature, and hopefully he'll start his own channel. And or if not, you know, I'll link to his you know, to his vids. He's very informative. He has a lot of experience. So hopefully you'll get to see him pretty soon. So anyway, guys, y'all take care out there. Take care of each other and love each other out there, because that's what we're here for. God bless.